Hello friends, welcome back to a new video. Today's a little goofy, a little silly. I put my creative writing skills to use this week to reinterpret Christian lyrics. Hear me out. So, for those of you that don't know, which I'm surprised if you don't because it's really baked into most of my content, I grew up very strict Baptist Christian. I was not allowed to listen to any music that wasn't approved by my parents, so that led to me listening to a lot of interesting artists because I wanted to be normal and I wanted to listen to cool secular music, but I wasn't allowed to, so I listened to the next best thing.
That's funny.
No, come here. You clearly want to show off, so say hello to the people. This man just walked in here with his shit-eating grin on his face, like Coochie Man.
I look like a cool uncle.
You do, actually. You look really cool in those glasses. So anyway, I thought I would go in and grossly misinterpret some Christian lyrics, just for fun, just to have a little goofy time. And you know, it's actually really appropriate because it's a Sunday morning and I live next door to a church and they are currently conducting a worship service. So if you hear anything like that, that's what that is. Wow, I didn't even plan that. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Before we begin, I know Christians could not take a joke if it was in the 10 Commandments, but if you're watching this and you are of the Christian faith, I am criticizing the establishment of the church and the culture that it creates. I am not criticizing the religion, although if you want me to, I will. And I am not making fun of you as an individual, okay? This is just a joke. This is for fun. This is satire.
Let us begin.
This first song you may have heard already. It has been going around as a trend on TikTok. The song is called Free to Be Me by Francesca Battistelli. Let us begin our analysis. At 20 years of age, I'm still looking for a dream. A war's already waged for my destiny. Strong opening. This passage that we open with here, I feel like Francesca is talking about how, as a woman in the church, your future is often laid out for you. You get married, you have babies, you serve God and your husband. But by describing it as a war, we see that she is dismayed by this prospect. Moving along, but you've already won the battle, and you've got great plans for me, though I can't always see. Here, we see she feels unsure about these plans. The you here is the church, and the culture within, right? She does not see how she can possibly be happy in this life. Now we move on to the chorus. 'Cause I've got a couple dents in my fender, got a couple rips in my jeans, try to fit the pieces together, but perfection is my enemy. And on my own, I'm so clumsy, but on your shoulders, I can see. I'm free to be me. Delightful allegory aside, in the chorus, we see the manifestation of Francesca's Stockholm Syndrome. She has been taught to view her resistance to the church's teachings as flaws. She has been convinced and gaslit to believe that if she were ever to leave the fold of the church, her life would fall apart. She's so clumsy, as she puts it, to ever survive in the world alone. And finally, as a woman in the church, that is her only identity, is being a woman. Whereas a man would be allowed to identify as pastor or a leader or a provider or a mechanic. She is going to be the homemaker, the woman, the child bearer, the emotional punching bag of the Christian family, so to speak. Here we see her, she's giving in to the manipulation that she has grown up with when she says, I'm free to be me. She's saying that she feels free in her oppression. We move on to the second verse. When I was just a girl, I thought I had it figured out. See, my life would turn out right and I'd make it here somehow. But things don't always come that easy, and sometimes I would doubt. In the second verse, we see Francesca describe a time before the indoctrination had set in. She was a young child. She was dreaming of all that she could be in the future. However, as she grew older, the walls of biblical womanhood began to close in around her, began to suffocate her optimism. She began to doubt herself and her constructed sense of who she was outside of the monolithic biblical woman. We have a second chorus here, and at the end she adds an extra line, "and you're free to be you." Evangelical Christianity mandates the spreading of the doctrine. Here she is so deep in the trenches that she is even trying to drag other women into it with her. She is inviting you to join the cult of Christianity and tells us that the world has us shackled when she is the one wearing the chains. Now, the final verse, third and final verse. "Sometimes I believe that I can do anything, yet other times I think I've got nothing good to bring. But you look at my heart and you tell me that I've got all you seek." And it's easy to believe. This third verse is another description of gaslighting that goes on in the church. The congregation is taught that they are worthless sinners and that they have nothing to offer God. But because God is so good, they are redeemed and actually are good. But only because Christianity says so. This use of double standards effectively allows the organization to dictate its congregation's lives. Without the approval of the church, anything and everything is wicked, even you. Finally, we have the chorus repeated a few times, finally finishing off the song with that same call to action. "You're free to be you."
Join me, sisters.
This second song is by a band called Red. This one probably won't be known to anyone outside of ex-Christian kids. This song and this band still goes hard to this day. It slaps. It's a certified banger. I still casually listen to this band. If I'm feeling nostalgic, I will put this on and headbang. It's called Death of Me. I should have seen all those signs around me, but I was so comfortable inside these walls. So go ahead and take another piece of me now, while we all bow down to you. Right off the bat, Red opens with a confession that they knew that something was wrong with the culture that they were in, but ignored it in favor of comfort. As we all do, I cannot cast the first stone here, but this environment is actively hurting them. As we see from the line, "Take another piece of me now." And maybe they feel as if they deserve it, and that's why they stay. We move right into the chorus. "You tear me down, and then you pick me up. You take it all, and it's not enough. You try to tell me that you can heal me, but I'm still bleeding, and you'll be the death of me." This environment, the church, is so toxic to this person. I believe this song is about a closeted gay man coming to grips with his sexuality while still being an active member of the church. Organization is ingrained in his life. It takes his energy, and he even gives it willingly. But as he is becoming aware of his sexuality, his world begins to unravel as he realizes he will eventually have to choose. In the second verse, we see a lot of interesting allegory. "How long can you love my affliction when you're the sickness and not the cure?" This is clearly a reference to the maxim so often touted by progressive Christians to love the sinner but hate the sin. How long will the Christian veneer of loving everyone, because we're all sinners, keep him safe from his community? How long before the people he has known all his life turn their backs on him? It's getting a little dark in here, so I open the window. Next, they say, "Too long I'll fake this addiction, another sacrifice to make us pure." Excuse me. He longs to explore himself and his sexuality, but he sacrifices that freedom to keep his support system around him. So they repeat the chorus again, and then there is this bridge, and if you've never heard the song, this is the part where it gets very rock and roll and the singer begins to scream. And he says, "I won't forget. I cannot forget this. I won't forget. I'll never forget this." Getting angrier and angrier. And so now time has passed, and he's lived with this secret for long enough that anger has built up. Why can't his friends and family just accept him? Why should he have to hide who he is if he really is gay? All his life he's heard about acceptance from these people and loving kindness. Now that he's showing who he truly is, they're turning their backs on him one by one. In the final verse before the final chorus, I know I can never approve this illusion. You aren't the one I thought you were. So I learned to embrace this illusion. The line that separates us starts to blur. Now the deal is sealed, and this is where it gets really dark. Completely disillusioned with the Christian culture, the singer is now at the climax. He must decide whether or not to choose himself. The church is not the beacon of unconditional love that he thought it was. It is a cult of hypocrites, and what makes him any better than them? For he's been lying to them and to himself his entire life. Finally, we end on the chorus. You tear me down and then you pick me up. You take it all and still it's not enough. You try to tell me that you can heal me, but I'm still bleeding and you'll be the death of me. The abandonment has brought him to the brink of suicide. He is at his wit's end. And what happens next? We're not told. I hope that this man has found peace and love in his life. And not what he was prescribed by the church. I hope that he realizes that he has merit outside of the church. His life can have meaning without God or some divine order to evangelize the world. I truly hope this man has found peace and a wonderful boyfriend. Well, that was fun. But just a reminder, that's all it was. It was just fun. I'm just goofing. None of this is serious. I know that Death of Me is not about a closeted gay man, but actually about a Christian struggle with sin. I know that Free to Be Me is not actually, I guess a desperate cry for help is what I interpreted it as. It is actually just about finding meaning in the Bible and church and like being a Christian, which good for you, bestie. Have fun. I understand that. I'm not stupid. I do know what these songs are about. So you don't need to run to the comments and tell me about how I'm wrong or any of that stuff. And if you want to run to the comments and try to argue with me, I will not be engaging. I will not be engaging with Christians trying to argue with me. I didn't make this video to have an argument with anyone, and if I wanted to argue with Christians, I probably would have stayed in the church. Feel free to comment, actually. I could use the engagement, but also, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. For those of you that stuck around and get the joke, and those of you who are fun-loving humans, thanks for hanging out. I hope you had fun. Let me know if you want me to do more of these, because this was really fun. I really enjoyed this. Because it's so easy to reinterpret Christian contemporary music. It is so easy. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please be excellent to each other. I will see you in the next one.